Today, we're going to take a look at a report from Highway 33 Capital Advisory on the future of cannabis investing, kind of give us an idea about what the investor market is doing, and therefore what cannabis companies are going to be able to do from scaling just to stay in business and everything in between. Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your Cannabis Business Podcast. We're going to take a look at what the path forward in the future means to the cannabis industry, looking at some other metrics as well as the future of the largest market in Canada and driving the pharmaceutical cannabis market, mitigating some risk, what the upside is to the investment space, some takeaways, and how I can help you. There are a lot of projections in the cannabis space, whether it's going to reach 75 billion by 2027 or some other figure. It's based on the fact that global sales are going to continue to grow in US states and countries around the world as they continue to legalize medical and recreational cannabis. So vital to promoting the growth, it's going to be necessary movement by big finance to take the lid off of the cash constraints for the cannabis industry. So all eyes are going to be turning towards the Safe Banking Act in the coming months. Insight into the path that the cannabis industry is taking towards a lucrative financial future is the medical marijuana, accounting for 71% of total legal sales in 2019. Granted, only 14 of the 33 legal states and the District of Columbia allow for recreational marijuana sales. Nevertheless, the disproportionate sale or share of medical sales is indicative of the aging population demographic in the US that is shunning opioids taken for chronic pain relief and turning to cannabis. CBD, as we've said, is the gateway into the cannabis industry. So the cannabis plant containing active ingredients called cannabinoids. First and second most abundant of these is THC and CBD. So it's certainly become an overnight success, having CBD being prescribed as a medical treatment. It's attracted large-scale investment from global companies such as Constellation Brands and Altria Group. It's projected to reach a market size as large as $22 billion in the next year or two, according to the Brightfield Group. And CBD is still a cannabis product category beset with regulatory issues. And even with the Farm Bill that was legalized in 2018, still seeing some companies trying to attempt to establish national brands, haven't really made that level or even had market levels, even with Charlotte's Web. So predictions are still strong that there's going to be hurdles to overcome with consumer demands. If Biden becomes the next top president, you'll see active pharmaceutical ingredients become even more important. That's if Biden reschedules from Schedule 1 to Schedule 2, it would give the FDA the authority to control cannabis and giving it basically to the hands of big pharma. And so THC and CBD are just two of the known cannabinoids that's in the plant, but I think we'll see a lot more, obviously, in the years to come. And we'll see additional developments with pharmaceutical grade cannabis in the future as the industry kind of matures. So there's some views that it's key to making smart investments in that category is to understanding the GMP compliance consultancy. So understanding that the global demand for cannabis and medical and recreation is increasing consistently at a growth rate of 17 to 23% per annum. And that's going to be about consistency. So the FDA wants to make sure that everything, just like a pill, is the same in and out. And so while true medical grade cannabis will be influenced by supply and demand and cost pressures, as well as by stringent cultivation and processing and export regulations, it's not unreasonable that some analysts predict that global medical market will eventually reach 650 billion from companies like GW Pharma, who's trying to make more of a pill out of it. Some of the surge surrounding the cannabis-based pharmaceutical drug market is a surge in the number of physicians authorizing medical cannabis because of the increasing clinical and empirical evidence and the growing number of patients looking for more natural alternatives to traditional drugs. Baby boomers and millennials with more liberal attitudes towards cannabis and the experimentation with various forms of alternative remedies. You're seeing rising tides of opioid abuse, effective replacing medications for the treatment of chronic pain. There's a continuing legislation changing across the globe, spurring cannabis demands in its various forms, and the rapid advancements of technologies that has led to the ability to discover and extract rare cannabinoids from the plant, as well as progressing the creation and production of cannabis drug discoveries. It's also trying to mitigate risk and maximizing the upside in the investment space. So the evidence continues to mount that pharmaceutical cannabis is the future of investing in the industry. However, many cannabis companies claim to be medical cannabis companies, often making it difficult for investors to tell the real players from the pretenders. So there's an approach to take to risk mitigate and trying to avoid failures. First, you can ascertain if the company and founders have backgrounds in pharmaceutical or cannabinoid based science. Second, to ensure that the company is familiar and focused on meeting EU GMP requirements for pharmaceutical grade. And third, to look at regulatory regime in the company's home market and that target market, and to annualize the ability of that company to scale in the context of near, medium, and long-term market expansions as new major international markets come online. So for an investor takeaway, you want to look at, while biotech and pharma capital raisers are soaring, cannabis funding is also down dramatically in 2020. Nevertheless, global market size predictions remain fixed on the cannabis industry being worth 73 million by 2027. And in relation to biotech and pharma, the lucrative future of cannabis for medical use is a global medicinal cannabis market that could eventually become the third largest worldwide market after oils and arms. With that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is The Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out. Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and check out these other videos that we've got.